Evening all, and you're very welcome along to this week's edition of The World You Don't Know with myself, Mick O'Connell, and this show is here to bring you the kind of information you're not going to get in the mainstream media. Now I'm having a little trouble with my headphones there, that's grand. You're not going to get the kind of information you get in this show on the mainstream. Let's face it, you won't. Now, one thing I just want to mention, I'm going to play a little song now in a second, because I have Alan from OIM. I was hoping to have Steve on as well, but Steve is unavailable. So I have Jaypee coming on from Wolf Spirit Radio in Scotland. Very nice guy. I've had him on the show before, and he's a very intelligent man, very knowledgeable man, just as Alan is. So we're going to have a good show tonight, folks, talking about geopolitics, what's going on around the world, what you're not being told by the mainstream media. Even in this country now, they're trying to shut down the alternative media. The government just passed new acts. They've added these little acts on now to some laws that were already in place, if you want to call them that. And apparently now it's to do with basically a call to action, that if you tell people not to pay their water charges and stuff like that. I would never tell anyone not to pay their water taxes. I would never tell anybody not to pay their taxes in general. But if you think you're being screwed, look into it and find out for yourself whether you are or not. Certainly wouldn't advocate not doing what you're told, because let's face it, the government can do you serious harm if they really want to. So, I wouldn't encourage anybody not to do anything, but if you want to stand up for your rights, that's your own prerogative. But I wouldn't encourage you to do anything whatsoever. I'd bring you the mainstream, or the alternative to what the mainstream are telling you, see what's behind the headlines and stuff like that. And even all these new laws the government are passing, trying to shut the alternative media up, that's all they're trying to do. Because they're scared. It's as simple as that. I've seen it myself recently over in the courts. The banks are coming into the courts with documents that are not proper, and the amount of shenanigans going on you would not believe, and they're evicting people all the time in their homes. And it's wrong, and what I think the only thing, not a call to action, but the only thing I would encourage anyone to do is some research. Don't just take the crap that's going on in the world lying down. Find out what you can do to stand up, not just for yourself, but for your family, for your children, for your grandchildren, and for the generations to come. Anyway, I'm going to play a little track, and I found this might sound like a band to you folks, but it's not. This is one busker sitting on a box with a guitar and a drum machine, and you want to hear the sound this guy gets. So I'm just going to play him because he probably gets plenty of airplay, I suppose, on YouTube, but not in the mainstream radio stations. So I'm going to give this fella a play and have a listen to this. This is the kind of talent that's sitting on the street trying to earn a crust. And then you see the crap that goes on the X Factor and Britain's Got Talent and all. I'll say no more, it's destroying music. But here's a real musician for you folks. Have a listen to this, and I'll talk to you in a couple of minutes. and gentlemen. That's a cracking piece of music. That guy's on YouTube. I don't even know what the name of the tune is, to be honest with you. If you type in trap style into YouTube, you'll probably find this video. It's just one busker sitting on his own, and I tell you, the guy's absolutely savage. He should be up there, but he's not. And that's the problem with the music industry today. It's full of crap. It's all mind control shite. And if you want to listen to that crap, be my guest. I mean, if you've seen the latest Miley Cyrus video, she's in a baby's cot. I mean, it's paedophilia on a grand scale. It's disgusting what's going on in the music industry. And that's why I played that tune, because that's a guy out there doing it on his own, trying to earn probably 20 quid a day, and yet he's belting out a decent tune. Anyway, I've got my guests lined up. I've got Jaypee from Wolf Spirit Radio, and I've got Alan from Open Your Mind Ireland Internet Radio. Two great radio stations getting the information out there and enlightening people. Anyway, I'm going to go straight to them. Good evening, gentlemen. How are yours?
Good evening, Mick.
Good evening, Al.
Good evening.
And good evening, JP. Nice, two good, clear signals. You're very welcome along to the show. Al, you're a regular on the show. JP, you've been on the show before as well. I think I've had you on my show twice. And two great shows they were as well. We've had great feedback. Now, Al, I don't know if you were listening. Did you hear that tune I was playing? I
just heard it there, yeah.
Yeah, very good. There's some busker on his own. I found it on YouTube there, and I stuck it up on my page. You can go and have a listen later on. Very good it is, you know. I also mentioned there that there's some new laws that our Minister for Justice has now enacted. She's added them on now to, I'm not even sure what act it is, to be honest with you. Ray Moore sent in a great message there saying it's an advanced corporation tax is all it is, or an additional corporation tax. That's what the word act stands for. But basically, it's to stop anybody, I suppose, in the alternative media and on social media telling people, like, don't pay your water bills and stuff like that. Now, I would never advocate that nobody pays them. If people want to pay them. But if you think it's wrong to pay them, I'll find out why it's wrong and then make a decision then. But I certainly wouldn't advocate telling people what to do. What's your thoughts on it, Al?
Well, yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, you know, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink it. And, you know, you can educate people about, they might ask you to say, well, why are you not paying the bill? And you tell them why you're not paying the bill. And then they can make the decision themselves as to whether you want to pay it or not. But, you know, to go around, I know, see, that's just the thing. They're losing the fight and they're losing the battle. And what they do is they bring in law after law after law, and then it just gets silly. There'll be laws coming out saying, you know, you'd be arrested for looking at police in a strange way, or you'd be arrested for loitering at a pedestrian crossing, or you'd be arrested for, you know, wearing a loud shirt in a built-up area. You know, all these silly laws are going to be coming out, and when people see that, I mean, we're seeing it now. We just kind of say, okay, it's getting to be a joke now.
Isn't it getting to the stage where thought is now becoming a crime?
Well, that's why you had the movie. I think, was it Colin Farrell was in that movie?
That was Minority Report, yeah.
Minority Report, where you don't even have to do the crime. You just have to think about doing it, and you get arrested.
And I think they're already rolling this type of thing out in America, where they're psychologically testing people, and if you fall into a particular criteria where you might become a criminal when you become an adult or an adolescent, well, then they start treating you there and then, wherever drugs they deem necessary.
Well, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, if you look at the amount of drugs taken in the States, especially with kids with Ritalin, you know, the pharmaceuticals want to diagnose everything. So they look at anything that's out there and they say, oh, there's the problem and here's the drug to fix it. That's what they do. That's how they do it. So basically, you know, you have to be, you just have to keep your eyes and ears and keep a listen out to what's going on and what's happening out there. And you have to do your research, obviously, and make your own judgment call on it.
And these new laws that they brought out, and I hate using the word law because they're not. They're acts. I mean, let's face it, that's what they are. They're acts. And they add these little acts on to existing acts and they amend them and stuff like that. And all I can see is they're trying to stop people who might go some way to encouraging people not to pay them what are essentially unlawful taxes. I mean, they're making us pay for water that's already paid for twice. You know, the water belongs to the people of this country. You know, it's given to us by nature, and yet these big corporations think they can come in then and lay claim to it.
Well, can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, go ahead, JP.
Well, here's my attitude, right? And it's pretty radical, but you really can't outlaw this. And here's the thing, right? Number one, right? You're spot on. They're acts, they're statutes. And a statute belongs to a society. And if you're a member of a society, then those statutes apply to you. However, nobody actually belongs to the society that is being referred to here, which is the law society. Only lawyers belong to the law society. So really, anti-statutes really only apply to lawyers or those who,
members of the law society.
On that mantle. Now, here's the thing: if there's a bill, right, and every order needs a bill, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
When you order a restaurant, you look at the menu, you make your order, and then you pay your bill.
Yeah.
So now with water, you didn't order the water. The water was already there. It's a human right. It should be. It is by true universal law. Oh, my mic's going funny. But by true universal law, it's yours. We shouldn't have to pay rent, as we were talking about Alex. We shouldn't have to pay rent on the planet we were born on. Right now, he comes to my door saying, bring me the man who has law in his book. Bring him here to see that law in the book.
Yeah, Jay, your signal is very bad. Do you want to sign out and sign back in?
Am I chopping up?
Yeah, you're chopping up
yeah.
bad. You're worse than Arnold Schwarzenegger's helicopter in a Vietnam movie.
Yes, yeah.
If you could probably sign out, maybe sign back in, and might clean up your signal.
Yeah. Hang on a second. I'll be back in a second.
All right.
It's probably because I'm saying something very important.
But I always say that myself now. I mean, you're not saying anything important right now. You're just talking, and the signal is nice and clear. But when you start talking about stuff that the powers that be don't want anyone to hear, the signal goes all over the place.
That's exactly it. That's it. And we've had
And there we go. I'm back.
Oh, we're back.
No, that sounds
all right.
now.
So here's my attitude. Bring me the man with the book of the law as it applies to me. Ask him to show me the law where it says I have to pay him, and I will pay him.
Document and verify the obligation.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's basically what it is. Document and verify the obligation.
Yeah.
And you can't say any further than that, I mean, if you get an invite to a party, you can document and verify that obligation by looking at the invitation card.
Exactly.
And if you don't want to go, you can RSVP them and say, I don't want to go.
Yeah, exactly. And it's only an invitation to pay, Anyway, so that's my attitude towards bills, and particularly with local taxes, because I was on the poll tax march. I went there, and I saw not only weather modification, I saw stormtrooper type police in those days. It's like the first time they were rolled out, the first time we saw the Nazis. And that's what they are. And here's where I want to go, guys. I want to say welcome to Nazi Britain. Welcome to the Nazism. And let's just throw that one on the table for a minute.
Well, it is. I think we live in a fascist dictatorship. I mean, the text that I'm reading now here is just to remind you all, this is off a friend on Facebook. I won't mention his name on air, but it says, just to remind you all, the Minister for Justice has added 18 sections to the Offences Against the State Act, which is Section 30 of, or the Offence Against the State Act, sorry. So be careful when you post anything that tells people not to pay water bills. And that's fair enough. You should never call anyone to action, to be honest with you, because it can get you into trouble. But the wording of the Act is promotes, encourages or advocates the non-payment of monies payable to the Central Fund or any other public fund or the non-payment of local taxation. And as I says, and even Aaron Russo, the great late Aaron Russo says it, don't ever not pay your taxes. Pay them. By all means pay them. But if you think it's wrong that you are paying them, find out why it's wrong and then together challenge the system. But because the thing about governments is they're dangerous people. You just have to look at the governments around the world, the Israeli government, the American government, the British government. These people are psychopaths. Look at the damage they're doing to the planet.
No, it's...
All right, so we need to talk about this. I mean, really, we need to talk about why we still put up with governments.
Well, I think fluoride in the water is probably a big thing. Fluoride in the water. Especially in this country, I mean, our water is fluoridated. And it's historical knowledge that Adolf Hitler used fluoride in concentration camps to pacify the prisoners. So why are they fluoridating the public water system?
Let me show you how much fluoride you have. You have fluoride in your toothpaste, we've been having Crest. You know, ever since Crest came out. Oh, Crest with fluoride. How wonderful. Fluoride's really good. It makes your teeth go ping when you smile, you know, ping. And all of that stuff. Selling us fluoride as a good idea. And it, as you say, it's a neuro inhibitor. It's a constituent of many of the many antidepressants.
And it's a constituent of rat poison.
Exactly. I mean, it's toxic. It's really toxic. You know, any chance of hydrogen fluoride forming in your body is a bad thing, right? It's really not a good thing. It's been infused. And the thing is, it's a waste product. It's the waste product of aluminium production.
And yet it's in our water. I mean, you know, you talk to some people on the street, even doctors, and they tell you, well, it's in the water because it's good for you. The government want to protect the teeth of the nation. And I always tell people to sit back and look at what governments actually do. The kind of carnage they perpetrate upon the planet, whether it's war, deprivation of their own societies and stuff like that. What makes you think for 1 second they give a flying toss what your smile looks like? They don't care. So no. Then you have to ask yourself, well, if you believe that they don't care, then you've got to ask the question, why are they fluoridating our water? Why aren't they putting nutrients in the water, like vitamins, stuff that's actually good for you? Why are they putting the waste product of the aluminium industry into the water, hydrofluorosilicic acid?
Bigger why. There's a bigger why. Why do we have them at all? They're psychopathic, they're paedophilic, they're vampiric, they do nothing but take from everybody. Yet at the same time, they keep saying we're doing you good. And do you know what it sounds like? It sounds like a paedophile with the victim.
I think nationally, and I think
we've been given, you know, like Stockholm syndrome.
I was just going to say that's what I was about to say. I think collectively the whole planet is suffering from Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, and it's because of and let's talk about this, all right? So let's just take a deep breath because we're going to go way back. You know, we're going to go way back. Have I got my way back machine? Let me see if I got my way back machine. There we go. Way back, long time ago. Long time ago. There's all these. We used to have really good civilizations, right? There was this place that they called Atlantis, and there was this place that they called Lemuria, and there was Hyperborea, and what is now Antarctica was another part of it. And you know, this was like more than 10,000, more than 13,000 years ago. It was all really nice, and then people started getting militaristic. And whenever you have an army, you eventually end up with wars, because what do armies want to do? Oh, well, let's go and fight something. Oh, well, we've got to train. You know, well, let's train by fighting things, you know. So they developed military, and, of course, then eventually everybody started warring with each other and spoilt the planet really badly. You know, and we're talking about, oh, we're ruining the planet. Do you know what deserts are? Deserts are the wasteland that is produced after nuclear weapons are used. Nuclear weapons that make Hiroshima look like a pop gun.
You know, I've seen some and read some stuff about our ancient history, and I know there are places, I think it's out in the Sahara Desert, and there's sections of that desert that are pure glass.
That's right.
Because they've been hit up by some sort of a nuclear heat blast.
And there's a uranium deposit in the middle. Guess what that is? It's the remains of the bomb.
And
That's
yet,
where they get uranium from, guys.
And yet
this is where,
these glass patches have been dated to like tens of thousands of years.
Yeah. I mean, there have been wars all over the place for a long time, and there's the only records that are really kind of continuous are from the East, from India, and they call them the Vedas. Within these books, it sounds like science fiction, but basically, what happened, right? There was a massive war between Atlantis and Lemuria, and essentially what people call reptilians, but like peaceful reptilians, were the Lemurians, and kind of Earth inhabitants and what you'd call animals, and then you got the Atlanteans who they came from other places. They were humanoids, and they came from other places, and because of how they've interacted with reptilians in the past, and that takes us to another further back syndrome situation where humans were first of all situated on Lyra, which is in the northern sky, and were attacked by one day they were attacked by a reptilian race that more or less nearly wiped them all out. And half of them went into hiding. Of what remained, half went into hiding, and half went into another place in the Pleiades, hid in this massive star cluster, and settled there and plotted their revenge.
And are these stories in those Indian Vedas? Is that where these stories are coming from?
This is a composite story that I've gathered from listening to everybody's stories. Okay,
right.
So this is the story so far.
Because most people, as you know, will put this stuff down to myths and legends and stuff. You know that it's not real.
Let me just finish this thread and then we can
right.
talk about it.
I need to go to a break in the next minute or two as well. So
okay, I'll
give you a heads up.
So let's go back. The Pleiadians plotted revenge against the reptilians and have been at war since that moment, which is maybe 1 million years ago. Okay, the Pleiadians and the humans have been at war with the reptilians. Okay, now the whole thing about black goo comes in. Have you heard of black goo?
No.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Right. Okay. If you haven't heard of black goo, watch the X-Files movie, the first X-Files movie.
Oh, that's black goo. Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And the episode called Piper Maru, which is actually the prequel to the movie.
Right.
But essentially, this is an intelligent liquid that takes over people, almost like a nanotechnology. And they call it the pathogenic, parasitic, artificial intelligence, the PPAI. And it's, because I've been wondering for a long time, where's the beginning of evil? Where does it all come from? And that's what
that's a question I've often asked as well.
Yeah. So in the next segment, let's talk about the origin of evil.
Right, we'll do that.
And how we got the governments that we have.
Right, that'd be an interesting topic to take up. Folks, we'll be back with Jaypee and Alan just after the break. I know Alan's sitting in the wings there keeping himself to himself. But listen, lads, can you both mute your microphones while I go to the ads, will you? Because I have you on the same fader. And that'd be great. Folks, we'll be back in 2 minutes with Alan and Jaypee.
Listen online now at liffysoundfm.ie.
Now, folks, you're very welcome back. Now, I just want to give out the text number, folks, before I do go. It's 087 062 7138. That's 087 062 7138. If you have any comments you'd like to make about what you're listening to on tonight's show. Now, is Alan and Jay still in the wings, is there?
We are, yeah.
That's grand.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Jay, you were saying there just before the break, the origins of evil. Because, I mean, if you look at us on this planet, most people that I know are good people. Yes, they probably done a few bad things, robbed an apple over an orchard or whatever, kicked their brother or whatever, silly little things. But all in all, 99.9% of the people I know are good people who do good things for other people and don't ask for anything in return. And yeah, when we turn on the television or read a newspaper, all we see around us is just evil. It's everywhere. And yet everybody I know don't behave like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I know one or two people who you could put into that category. I'm not going to mention their names. But we've all got people like that in our lives. But as I says, all in all, most people are good. Yet, we've got this evil streak where humanity can go to war against each other for no good reason whatsoever.
Yes, right. So, let's again, let's go back. Now, where were we? No, we weren't there. We were, yeah. Meanwhile, a long, long time ago in this galaxy, okay, so we're looking at the stars in the night sky that you look up at, and you can see everybody recognizes Orion, yeah?
Yeah.
Then if you look up to the right of Orion, you see a red star, that star is in a kind of little face, and that's the bull's face. It's Taurus, and that's Aldebaran. Aldebaran comes in later, but just to put that's where Aldebaran is. And then up to go further to the same distance, in the same direction, you find the Pleiades. And the Pleiades is a star cluster. It's known as the Seven Sisters, but there's about 100 of them. It's a massive star cluster. Now, what that really is the tail of our arm, of the spiral arm of the galaxy that we're in. That's towards the tail. You see, we're out on the arm of an edge, and the arm sort of finishes up in a tail, and that's where the Pleiades go. So there's clusters of stars that happen. Anyhow, if you look towards the North Star now, Draco, the constellation Draco, the dragon, the snake, is kind of wrapped around the North Star. Takes in part of Ursa Minor, the little bit.
Can I just stop you there, JP? You mentioned Draco there. You hear this term all the time, on this planet.
What?
Draconian laws.
Yes.
Is that where that word comes from?
We'll get there.
Draconian.
Right, we'll get there. Okay, so the constellation is called Draco, and if you're looking, it's a little fainter than the regular one. So everybody knows the plow. Everybody can recognize the plow, the saucepan. And so if you look at the panhandle of the saucepan, and if you look like above the middle star, just faintly, you'll see a star above that, okay, towards the North Pole. And that is Tubin, and that is Alpha Draconis. Hang on. Let's say that again. Alpha Draconis. I love my sound effects. Because this is serious stuff, and you got to keep it a little light.
You have to keep it light. If you don't laugh at this stuff, you go bloody mad.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just placing our place in the universe, right? Our place in the galaxy, because it's pretty busy enough there. There's also involved in our planet is Sirius, which is, if you look at Orion, down to the left of Orion. So that's Orion's dog, and that's a triple star cluster. It's like 3 stars in orbit around each other, and they call them Sirius A, B, and C. And of course, there are planets around those stars. And it's a bit of an interchange. It's a bit of a highway stop. And really, Earth is a bit like, imagine in the desert, in the American desert. You've got this long straight road, and then there's this little shack that is a cafe halfway along there. That's the Earth. But it's a bit of a badass place. Bikers go there. It's like, so anyway, meanwhile, our galactic bikers, the Alpha Draconians, they were, and here's where I'm getting to. They were, somehow they got hit by an asteroid that had this stuff on it. This stuff it's black. It forms a black, hang on. Is that better? It forms a black stone, and this material is a nanocarbon material, but it's like a nano computer technology, distributed, intelligent, quantum connected, artificial intelligence. It's not really an artificial intelligence because it's possibly a naturally occurring thing. And I believe that it's actually when a planet is vaporized or neutralized, or, all the people on the planet are killed, all the beings on the planet are killed, all their consciousness goes into this stuff like a residue.
Yeah, because you have to ask yourself.
It's very much like that stuff in Star Trek, The Skin of Evil.
You have to ask yourself, what is consciousness? Nobody knows what it is. Let's be fair, no one knows what it is.
From our perspective, we have the source consciousness, the galactic consciousness, right? Imagine, all right? Let's go back even further, right? Going into the center of the galaxy. Going into the center of the galaxy is where everything spurts out, right? Originally, the galaxy was one little lump, or one smallish lump, or maybe a huge lump. But whatever it is, it started spraying stuff out like a Catherine wheel. And it rotates as well. So it's exactly like a Catherine wheel, but on a huge scale. So there are two ports, the north and south, and they start rotating, and they start spitting out, stars and bits of stuff and planets and clouds and basic elements like carbon and hydrogen and helium and all these things, and plasma. It's a really electrical thing. It's not like a fusion. It's not a bomb. I think really what we have to get the idea of, I'm talking very controversially here, because my view of the galaxy, for instance, or of the sun is not of a hot burning body. And I'll prove this to you, right? You go up in an aeroplane, you have to put heating on. You go up on a mountain, you freeze to death. The higher up you go, the colder it gets.
And space is supposed to be cold, and yet we get the heat off the sun. But
exactly, it's cold in space, and you can go as far as the sun, and it'll still be cold. Yeah. Okay. So the galaxy is universe. The universe and the galaxy is an electrical situation, and the sun really is like one of those plasma globes where those glass globes that you put your hand on, and you can see these lines of plasma that come out of it. That's what the sun really is. And the outer corona glows at this high frequency, and it's much like a fluorescent tube.
Can I bring you back to the Draco system? Because I wanted to get to the root of this evil thing you were talking about. I had a text in also.
Okay.
I just want to read a quick text out that I got. Draco was also used as a character in the Harry Potter movies, Draco Malfoy. Now, I've never seen a Harry Potter movie, so...
Yes, Draco Malfoy was one of Harry's contemporaries.
Right.
They belong to a line, and they're into their lines, and the Dracos are really into their bloodlines.
But you were talking about the Dracos earlier. What have they got to do with evil, Jaypee?
All right. Okay, so basically, this black stuff infests entire races, and it gives them intelligence. It gives them great intelligence.
So do you think humanity was infested by this, whatever you call it, black stuff, this goo?
I'm saying, first of all, that the Dracos were.
Right.
Okay, so the Dracos then go out, having been infested, the AI teaches the Dracos how to make spaceships and creates a very unevolved spacefaring race. Do you get me now? Mm-hmm. This is where it all starts. Now, or it doesn't really start, but as far as we're concerned, this is how it gets in. This is how it infiltrates. So it infects the Dracos. The Dracos go around. They conquer other races. They learn how to do genetics, and they've been doing it for like billions of years. They've been spacefaring for billions of years, these guys, right? We've only been spacefaring, humans have only been spacefaring for like a couple of million years. Anyway, so the AI infests the Dracos, who go around and infest the entire galaxy. It's like they've got it's like they got an STD, and the STD causes madness, and it causes psychopathology. Right. So we're now starting to see. Right. So let's today, these days, right? We are now reliant on our black stuff, and in the last 200 years, our planet has been infested by a black material, and we call it petroleum. And there are small amounts of this black goo that come from another place that is malign in the same way that was the same stuff that infected the Dracos.
And you think that's crude oil?
It's about controlling. Well, basically, right, you got to watch the X-Files movie, right? It tells you all. Just go onto the internet, everybody, and watch the X-Files movie. And they lay it all out.
But do you think the X-Files have a certain element of truth to them?
Oh, yeah. It's a documentary.
Do you think so?
I'm not kidding. I am not kidding, guys. Right. Anyway. So the Dracos are infested by this stuff. They get very intelligent but not evolved. So they're still badass. You know, they go around. They're bullies. They go around bullying people. They're big. They're they're kind of tough. They're androgynous, and they believe that they're arrogant. They everything that's bad. It's like all the bad qualities of a living being is embodied in the Dracos, having been given this thing. They're too clever for their own evolution. They're like children with a genius, like an evil genius child. You know what I'm saying? And they go around infesting the universe with this black goo that they're infected with. And we're here as the last bastion against this stuff. And the battle is really in our minds. And here's the thing. And this is where it all comes together, because we often talk about manifestation, laws of manifestation. In the last 3 weeks, this is according to Alex Collier, in the last 3 weeks, the Archonic fence has been brought down. Now, the Archons are another dimensional race that are very much like the black goo in operation and probably are a part of it. And they have had what's called the veil of forgetfulness, which means that when we reincarnate, we don't know who we are anymore.
I've heard that theory before. Yeah.
Now, you may start getting calls, and you may start experiencing people who are listening to this. New ways of thinking, new memories are coming out, or you'll be remembering that you can do things, or that you can remember stuff. You might even start remembering your past lives, and you start remembering who you are. And that's the really, really important thing, is remembering who you are, all right? Which is an incredible, manifesting, powerful being, and not at all someone who has to pay the rent tomorrow, or has to go to work, or is living in fear of some big man with big sticks.
That's something I want to talk about now in a moment. I need to go to my last set of ads, but you mentioned the law of manifestation, or the law of attraction, as it's commonly called, and something I want to mention about that I've read about in the last week, and I'm going to bring that to your attention now just after the break. So do you mind muting your mics for 2 minutes, lads, and I'll get back to you after the break.
No worries.
Lovely. Sorry for leaving you out in the dark there, Al.
That's okay, Mick.
No problem. Listen, I'll be back in 2 minutes for Alan and Jay, folks. Talk to you very shortly.
On 96.4 Community Radio at its best. Liffey Sound FM.
Now, folks, you're very welcome back. The text number is 087 7138. Now, Jay and Alan, you're still with me?
We are, yeah.
Lovely. Now, Alan, you'll be well aware of our new UFC champion, Conor McGregor.
Sorry, say that again, mate?
You'd be aware of who Conor McGregor is?
I don't, I'm afraid, no.
The UFC champion, Conor McGregor.
Oh, yes. I don't really watch.
Right, now, well,
I heard about the fight that he had the other day.
Yeah, he beat Jose Aldo in like 13 seconds, but he's on a big crest. I like Conor McGregor, and it's not that I'm a UFC fan. I'd watch the odd fight, but I wouldn't follow it like religiously like some people would. But I like him for one reason. He attributes his success to reading the book The Secret. And if anybody is proof that the law of attraction actually works, he's living proof, in my eyes anyway.
Yeah, I seen the interview he was talking about he focused on what he was planning to do. And last night on OAM, we had Daniel Leverity on our show, on the second half of the show, and we talked all about this, the law of attraction, manifestation, how she did it, because she changed her life around. She started off with all the anger and the going on the protests and making the videos and all that. And she just started changing the whole process around. And when she started doing that and vibrating at a higher energy and thinking on a higher energy and manifesting
things started to change
in her own mind, things started to happen. And she's in a much better place. And the things she wants are beginning to happen.
So did she mention anything to you? Because I was talking to Sean McGuire last week. He was up in Dublin, and we met, we had coffee and that. And we were talking about the very subject, the law of attraction and stuff. And I mentioned Conor McGregor to him, what I'd read about him. And he says, but there's one other law that you must remember. To get one to work, you need to understand the other. And that was the law of gratitude. It wasn't the concept I was aware of. Did that girl mention that to you last night?
Yeah, we were talking about that as well. And Daniel mentioned that. Gratitude is very important, because we have to be grateful for what we have. You know, it's part of the process. It's part of the key.
Rather than just wanting a Ferrari, hoping it might manifest.
Well, look, at the end of the day, you know, I know people talk about that, but it's more than just the materialistic, physical things in our life. It's got to do with love. It's got to do with energy. And the whole vibration of that, and understanding the science behind it and how it all works. And the one thing I'll just say quickly is that if you're in anger and you're in a kind of protest mode and you're going on protest and you're shouting and screaming and you get frustrated and annoyed, I know that happens to all of us. We can't be positive all the time. But at that level, manifestation is not going to happen. The law of attraction is not going to happen. You have to be operating on a higher frequency. You have to be working on a higher level, and the only way you can do that is to change your mindset, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I think McGregor he's achieved that, because I watched a video the other day of him, and I think he must have been 17 if he was a day. He's only a young lad. He's pimply face and all on him, no beard, short hair, and he predicted exactly where he would be today. He told him, "I'm going to take over the UFC. I'm going to be the world champion, and I'm going to have more money than I know what to do it." And that's exactly the position he's in now.
Well, it's the power of positive thinking. It's to, you know, think it and then feel it and know that that's going to happen. And that's what it's really all about.
Okay. Right. So at this point, we need to know who we are. Now, your boy Connor, though, he
knows who he is.
Yes, this is it. This is
he's reached that point. I'm convinced of that.
He knows what he's doing. He knows where he wants to go.
And it's funny, he's a local lad to this station, actually. He's from the Lucan area where this station broadcasts from.
Excellent. You'll want to have him.
So he'll be well known in the community.
So here's the thing, all right? Now, what is the difference between you and him? Nada.
He's figured it out.
Your belief systems.
Yeah, that's him.
Just your belief system, right? And what happens is we have had, like I said, Stockholm Syndrome, which creates belief systems. You know, you believe that you're in love with your oppressor. You know, this is what happens to victims of pedophilia. That's why nobody comes forward to the police. You know, people say, "Oh, why didn't they come forward? You know, they had all this time." No, people are terrorized. Yeah. This is what terrorism really is. This is true terrorism, and it is done by the lizards, the reptiles, the alpha draconian influence on our planet, because we have to go way back once more. Because what you got to understand is that hierarchical government systems are reptilian in base. That's what they do. They have kings and queens, or I think they have queens, really. They have queens, and then they have a situation of people who serve the queen, and then they have workers. And they're all different breeds. They're literally different breeds. So everybody knows their place. And they have the blue bloods, and the whole structure of what we call government is literally draconian. Literally, government is draconian. Draconian is government. Do you understand what I'm saying? That the whole thing of it, the whole concept, idea, thought form is imported directly from Alpha Draconis. Now, it is not evolved, because we as humans, we don't really fit into that. Not really. And only people who have been infected by the black goo, and those who have, or those who have been sufficiently traumatized, or trained or conditioned, same thing, sufficiently traumatized in order to have the correct mindset to fit in with society, right? Which is why, and this is what I love about Ireland, is it's full of very individual people who don't fit into society, yet you live together, you have your communities, and there's love, and that's what it's based on, you see? And here is essentially the difference between the draconian methods and the human methods. And humans are more like Native Americans, and, you know, the native people of this planet. That's the model that we should be flowing from towards. And that's how it's going to be, because once this whole Draconian thing is gone, which it's going soon.
Do you think that's happening? Do you? Yeah, I wanted to ask you that. Do you think it is being dismantled?
No, right. This is the really important bit, and this is where the manifestation thing is, right? What we have to do, we start manifesting immediately, all right? The first thing you start manifesting is, wouldn't it be nice if tomorrow was a very beautiful day? And then when you wake up in the morning, you thank the universe, God, whatever you think is the thing that controls everything, that is like in charge. Thank it for a lovely, beautiful day.
Part.
Thank you for my people. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for, say 3 things you can be thankful for.
Yeah.
And if you can't thank of anything, thank the universe for Liffey FM.
Thank the universe for me.
Yeah,
definitely, without a shadow of a doubt.
There you go, Mick.
Thanks the universe for me. I mean, you should all be lost if I wasn't here.
There you go.
Because I know my way around. I'm only joking.
So anyway, back to the Draconians. So what we got to realize is that the government idea, the concept of government is a Draconian idea. It's Alpha Draconian. It's lizard-based. It's reptilian-based. It's not evolved.
Yeah, because it feels
designed to prevent evolution.
It feels alien, because I even remember growing up as a kid, you'd be hanging around in the gang, there'd be about 10 years, all the same age, and there'd always be 1 or 2 who'd try to lead the group, and you'd never let them. The rest would rebel and say, hang on a minute, no, I'm doing my own thing, you know what I mean, blow it out your arse. And we wouldn't allow these leaders to sort of rise up within the little group,
That's right. Well, there's always that tendency.
Because it didn't feel right, that's what I mean. Even as a child, I didn't want anyone to boss me around.
Exactly. So that's human. That's and our inner child is who we are. Okay. So when we find out who we are like children, and that's what that's what Jesus said. Be like children, because that's how you are. Don't try and pretend to be a grown-up adult in the government world, because you're just trying to pretend to be a lizard. Don't you get it?
Make a point,
it's really, really simple. And what Jesus was telling us, how to be a human. How to be, just be nice. Humans are nice people, like you say. Humans are wonderful.
I think we're a wonderful species. We have such amazing potential to do such wonderful, brilliant things. And yet you put on the news, I know I keep harping back to the news, and all you see is death and destruction all over the place. It's everywhere.
Yeah, well, guess why? Because the news is a reptilian product.
Negative energy, lower vibration.
All competition.
It is all competition.
Beauty contests, football contests.
It's like Sky News. I think it was on Friday.
Designed to put you in a state of competition and contention, a belief system that there isn't enough, and you've got to fight for it.
Yeah,
that's not human.
That's unfortunately the world we live in.
There's not enough. Let's make more.
Well, listen, lads, I've come to the end of the show. It's 4 minutes to 10, and I want to play out with a nice Christmas song with the week that's in it. I want to play out with the Pogues and the Fairy Tale of New York. So, Al, I know you didn't.
I just want to say thank you very much, everybody.
Jaypee, you're more than welcome.
I'm gonna run this whole story in my show tonight on Journeys with Jaypee on wolfspiritradio.com.
Right, so if anybody wants to jump over there now, what time are you on?
I'm on at 1 a.m. 1 a.m. UK.
1 a.m. GMT, okay.
If you go to Wolf Spirit Radio, you can find current archives, and I'll have it. It'll be there by tomorrow.
And there'll be loads.
I'll put the whole story out. I think it's a really excellent topic.
It is a good topic, and
I've learned a lot.
Unfortunately, an hour's radio's not enough
as well. But anyway, we'll see you.
Well, listen, Jaypee, you have a wonderful Christmas, and hopefully I'll catch up with you in the new year and get you back on.
All right, God bless.
That'd be brilliant.
God bless everyone.
Lovely, God bless.
Thank you very much, Alan. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much for coming on. I know you didn't get to jump in too much, but all I can say is...
Interesting listening.
Yeah, it was a very interesting show. I wasn't expecting the show that we're doing here tonight, so that's what I love about this live radio. You never know what's going to be around the corner. Well, listen, I'm going to let you go, and I want to wish you and Steve and everybody listening an absolutely wonderful Christmas.
And yourself, Mick. Take
and
care.
I'll talk to you again in the new year.
Let's shoot forward for next year. Make sure it's a good year.
Definitely. Let's make next year the best year that we've had so far.
Brilliant stuff.
Lovely. Thanks very much, lads. Talk to you very soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was Alan and Jaypee. Alan from Open Your Mind Radio and Jaypee from Wolf Spirit Radio. And as he said, 1 a.m, another 3 hours from now, he's on wolfspiritradio.com doing his own show. And it's a great show. It's esoteric subjects. It's weird stuff. It's far out there stuff. You don't have to believe any of it. But give him a listen. It's always worth giving him a listen. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with Fairy Tale of New York for the pose, because it is Christmas week and I don't want it all to be doom and gloom. So I'm going to leave you with this song and just wish everybody an absolutely fantastic Christmas, and hopefully I'll see you next week. If not, I'll see you all in the new year, and I'll talk to you all very soon. Take it handy.
It was Christmas Eve, babe, in the drunk tank, an old man said to me, won't see another one. And then he sang a song, the rare old mountain tune. I turned my face away and dreamed about you. Got on a lucky one, came in 18 to 1. I've got a feeling this year's for me and you. So happy Christmas.